Busy.
There you go.
And the scene is set this evening in a new place. At least for Stephen it is. It's the Vale Community Centre, the eastern side of the projects, where Gideon has arranged a meeting with Stephen. Rather, Stephen contacted him first, and Gideon, being a busy man, suggested a venue at which he already had business this night. And as the scene begins, Stephen has just been sat down at a table in a side room, usually reserved for recreation purposes. There's a pool table and a couple of chairs in the corner, big bar stool type things. The room itself looks unremarkable, really. It's a little bit dark in here. It looks fairly well kept. It's nothing out of the ordinary, certainly. And Gideon, a familiar face to you now, with his short black hair, his wide smile, and sharp fashion sense, leans in towards you. So tell me, Stephen, what was it you wished to talk about?
Well, I have had a few nights to think about. It's a very brief, awkward happenings at St. Christina's, and the what I would call unusual frustration taken out in a unique way from yourself. I was wondering what could have gone on after my egress that drove you to such frustrations.
Ah, I see. You are a curious kitty this night, Stephen. You wish to scry into my memory and see what you can find. Of course, I will indulge you just this once, as you have indulged me in the past. And tell me, on a side note, you are feeling better now, yes?
Yeah. As far as the night so far has progressed, I have not seen or heard ghostly images or sounds in my mind.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, you are as well as we can be. That is good to know. But yes, that night we had some guests. They were not welcome, and they refused to leave. But if you want the full story on this, I suggest you speak with Axel. I believe him and some of his friends are organizing something to do with this. It might be of interest. Yes, I believe it is a matter of note, something that should be looked into. I do not distrust my child's judgment. He is intelligent in his own way.
No, I would expect you to have as much respect for Axel as my sire, although he is in New York, to have as much respect for me.
New York. An interesting place.
Quite. So many bad memories. But you cannot There must be something you have heard. I
Well,
mean, it did not appear to me that they were unusual, unliving as we are. In fact, for all of my senses, though I could not detect a heartbeat, as I have practiced quite a few times, they appeared very much mortal.
I will tell you what, Stephen. This room is nice and quiet and secure. No one will eavesdrop on us here. However, the building proper, there are many kind around. Such conversations stay in this room and this room alone. Okay, but I will make you a bargain. I will elaborate on one of my bad memories, a recent one you are interested in fact. And you share with me a little story of your own.
That is extremely fair.
Well, where to begin? I suppose, as I am the one proposing this little bargain, that I shall go first. Well, you see, it was a normal night, for the most part, until we received some visitors. I believe I was talking with Axel himself, actually, yes.
Yeah.
When there was a knock on one of the back room doors, a guest, peculiar fellow, I ushered him forth out of the room. As Axel made his way to the chapel proper, and we spoke with this guest for a while. He asked very strange, probing questions about faith. Not questions that, say, a man without faith would ask, but a man that is completely alien to the concept.
I do remember Richard quite well.
Is it Richard? Yes, I believe it was Richard. So I spoke with this man, and I assured him that if he wishes to place his faith in our Lord and Savior, and he is free to do so. And in fact, I encourage it. But his mannerisms and the way he approached it were very unorthodox. He did not wish to devote himself. He said he had read the Bible, but it seems he had learned little from it. There are many good messages within those pages, and he seemed to toss them aside, seeking only benefit for himself. That is not what religion is about. I tried to explain to him. There is no percentile outcome of material gain. In fact, such things are discouraged, almost, in a way of things. It is about a spiritual journey, understanding oneself and the world around you through a new set of eyes, admiring the beauty in even the smallest flower or the most timid shrew. It's about being a shepherd. taking care for those around you, loving your neighbor, etc., etc., etc. Then things started to get interesting. I do not need to tell you that, as others made themselves known. And the point that in which the scales started to tip was when the cross was removed from the wall.
Yeah. Axel was quite upset by that, although I did not mean to misplace his outward emotions. I was merely trying to ensure that, though it seemed desecrated, such a important holy place cannot be so easily sullied and can be repaired.
Of course. However, these individuals seem not to care for our traditions. They did not respect our domain. From what I have heard, they do not respect the masquerade. I have been listening, you see, very intently to some of the whispers I have heard from the elders. These creatures, these individuals, forgive me, are dangerous. I attempted to maintain my composure and remove them peacefully, but as you know, I lost my temper, as I am prone to. However, rest assured that should these things ever step foot in St. Christina's again, it will have a very different outcome. If anyone asks, I am in charge. You understand? Celine is not to be implicated.
You are Celine's right hand. That is why she stayed in the background. That is understood.
On the note of these individuals, yes, I think it would be beneficial if you give Axel a call at some point.
You said, before you corrected yourself, you referred to these individuals as creatures and that they did not respect the masquerade, not our masquerade, the masquerade. Is that some kind of reference that they may not be mortal?
Stephen, you understand, sometimes even a man as calculating as I makes a slip of the tongue. I'm sure you will find out soon. But not from me. You may even hear from one of the neonates. I do not feel it is my place to tell you. I do not wish to worry you. You see, my child?
I can only hope that these rumors do not point to one that I was told some time ago by one of the Ventru. Then it was my first visit to the Emerald Scorpion.
A Ventru, the Emerald Scorpion, not quite. I'm interested. Please elaborate.
This will not be my part of the bargain, but a bonus.
Of course.
A
A bonus For dear Gideon. I like it.
A man by the name of Maximilian Hardcastle. I would have to describe him as a man with a bearing on security. In a private room on the upper floor, he told me, both myself and two others, one other of our kin directly, and a what was he? Tremere, though I have not seen him around in some nights. So I can, yeah. Went by the name of Jack February.
I apologize. Could you please repeat the name?
Jack February.
1 moment. As soon as you say the name, you can see cogs whirring in the back of Gideon's mind. His eyes just light up for a split second, perhaps, before he looks at you very intently.
You know that name.
He ushers forward with his fingers for you to look at him closer. Better closer, my child. Better closer.
Stefan, not obviously, but he's noticed this in himself and others. He tries to nonchalantly, like, kind of look over your shoulder, not directly into your eyes. But he's going to try to do it subtly so that you hopefully don't notice this. Oh God, it's going to be what, wits
subterfuge.
Wits subterfuge. Okay, either that or wits stealth. Okay, wits subterfuge. Yeah, that's the correct number. 2 successes.
I'll make a counter roll for that because he's a perceptive motherfucker.
Yeah.
Defender wins, so he doesn't notice that you're on, purposefully trying to avert your gaze. But of course, you are inadvertently still disobeying a command. He just gently taps you on the cheek if you allow him to. Stephen, do not make me order you.
That is not necessary. I will forget the mention of that name.
All I am saying is, the less you know about this individual, the better. Such matters are none of our business, or so I am told.
Then, the Tremere who proved my loyalty at Elysium has taken care of it. That is good. That is quite good. But this
Gideon actually leans in to your ear now, just to the side, very delicately. I hear he took a trip somewhere sunny. And he just presses his fingers to his lips.
a look of Relief actually washes over Stefan's face. Well, so that is good, that I will not see his unobfuscated fangs again. Sad, but things happen. But back to this matter. This Mr. Hardcastle mentioned I guess you could say he gave us a bit of a heads up, a warning of some less than savory elements of our kind. Something about these Sabbats, and he mentioned something about some of them being able to bend and mold flesh and bone.
Oh, my dear child. My dear child. These Sabbats you hear of, they are but a rumor, a boogeyman, nothing to worry about.
Actually going to attempt to make a perception empathy. No. No. You got 3 to my 2. Okay. Hmm. 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 A little special Bloody Mary there.
Very sorry about that.
Oh, say,
Okay, so you were gonna make a counter roll, right?
yeah, I got 2 to your 3.
Oh, okay, cool.
So it was made up. You sounded quite convincing.
Not made up. Like all rumors, or good rumors at least, they are based in some fact, but believe me when I say it is nothing to worry about. Whatever he told you, the reality is far less grandiose, and I would appreciate it very much if you do not spread any unrest or further mention of the name.
So, okay. It was, so it is true, but the apparent abilities are slightly, what is the word? Manipulated.
Well, let me put it this way. Whatever he told you, he was probably trying to scare you, intimidate you, so as he could manipulate you. It is much easier to get what you want from someone when they are scared.
Huh.
At this point, you'll hear a knocking. On the door frame,
Ah,
there's a figure leaning in it. I'm
that
terribly
must be
sorry.
my appointment. Gideon's head spins round. You're terribly sorry. Whatever for, my dear?
Well, I didn't want to interrupt your conversation or anything.
Oh, by all means, come in. Come in. You must be Thomas.
Stefan's
Thomas.
head turns in that direction.
Thomas removes his scarf, looks at the both of you. That would be correct.
And do you know who I am?
You are Gideon?
Ah, excellent. Please take a seat.
Thomas takes a seat, looks at Stefan. Ah, Herr Braunfiedler.
He replies in his native tongue. Good evening, Thomas.
Guten Abend.
Is this group indeed dangerous?
Danger is what you make of it. Now, Thomas,
Yes,
I
sir.
see you are acquainted with Mr. Braunfiedler.
I am.
Excellent. Now, I have brought you here, and I suppose it would only be fitting for Stephen to lend a hand to make this place more calm. It would serve as a good base of operations for the foreseeable future, not to discuss matters of kindred society, but mainly a place to meet and then conduct business elsewhere.
Agreed.
How you go about this is of little concern to me. Spread word to the other kindred, or merely bring them here, show them the place. Perhaps send out a mass email, text, but do ensure that they are aware this is a kind establishment.
During
I
all
will,
hours?
all hours, yes. Myself and your clan have an understanding that this would, believe it or not, be beneficial. Let's see just who can exercise self-control. You must all learn to walk the walk.
Understandable.
Yes, this place will do fine. There is much you can learn from here. And I will also be giving you the number of my child, as I feel you could perhaps aid him.
Who would be your child? Would I have met him?
Mr. Axel Linwood. Are you familiar with him?
No.
Here is what I want you to do.
I'm listening.
He has met with a friend of his I do not know much about, but we have a common goal. He wishes to arrange a meeting of sorts within a few nights. I want you to ensure that this meeting happens here.
I am to be a guiding hand of sorts.
Yes, both of you work together, convince Axel that this would be a suitable venue. And let me put it this way, if we have one fiery meeting to start off the celebrations. No, wrong word. If we have one fiery meeting to kickstart this place as a venue for kindred cooperation, then we will have many more good meetings.
Why should we not treat this as a celebration? Something to keep our spirits up. After
I
all,
suppose.
what I was told so long ago is that those on the lower rungs of the totem pole of our society must stick together.
Very good. You've been taught correct. Yes. A celebration it is then. You will keep it quiet. You will tell him this is a kind establishment. I'm sure he has already heard of my work here. It will probably ring some bells in the back of his mind, but nothing concrete. Simply tell him that we will... Go on.
Would your child have any vices or reasons that can convince him even further to come here, or?
It will not be necessary, just instruct him that I think it is a good idea.
Okay.
Furthermore, you will all muster here. You understand what a muster is, yes? Gathering.
Yeah.
Business will be brief here. You will move on. Cannot be any bloodshed on this doorstep. Once you move on, you may go where you wish. It is merely a convenient area for you all to convene.
And at some point, we are going to meet at Axel's behest with some of these individuals on safe ground, something that is neutral, but still in favor for us.
Perhaps. You see, if they do come here, there will be kind around. You will be safer.
Insurance of sorts?
Are these individuals highly dangerous?
I suppose you will find that out when you gather.
Thomas shoots Stefan a look, meaning, well, if Stefan could read it, probably it would mean we need to talk.
Let me see if I pick up on that. Perception, empathy ought to do it. 2 successes?
Yeah, 1 out. 2 successes. Yeah, go for it. I do not know the details of this meeting. I am merely ensuring the safety of my brood.
Very well. I can respect that. And I will ensure that these calculating individuals do not step foot in this place.
I expect that I will work my contacts and see if there are any other pop-up hubs I can arrange. I figure it is the safest way to conduct business now, for the neonates at least.
And it ensures that Celine is not buried. I would like it very much if she were not disturbed, as I tended to notice during a visit that I witnessed between her and her brother.
Gideon just tilts his head slightly, but doesn't actually say anything.
Thomas just listens
Security.
intently.
He takes a moment and leans in closer. Security of the clan is my prerogative. Protection of the masquerade is also my prerogative.
I do not wish to overstep my bounds.
At this point, Gideon actually stands up, and he'll just pat you on the shoulder. Very good, Stephen. Now, I'm sure there's much for you both to discuss. You'll have to tell me that tale another night, for I'm a busy man.
Hopefully, when I tell you, I will have something quite promising to present to Celine herself.
Fingers crossed. Take care, both of you, young neonates.
Stefan stands and gives a slight bow.
Thomas stands as well, gives him a 2-finger salute.
He just nods his head. And at this point, Gideon will start to walk towards the door, the side door, and just open it before walking out and closing the door behind him.
Thomas just waits for a moment, listens until sound of footsteps have died out. Looks at Stefan.
Yeah.
I have news for you.
Something of similar discussions here tonight with Gideon.
Yes. Would you like a sheet of paper, or will you not be writing this down?
I do believe recording this appropriately would be the best policy. And he reaches into a breast pocket of his, or no, he reaches into a pants pocket because he's wearing a hoodie tonight. And pulls out a notepad and a pen. Go on.
You mentioned one of the individuals' name was Richard, right?
Yeah.
There are 5 individuals. The one at the church, the one you didn't get the name from, or the one who didn't tell you his name, is called Johann. It's a German or Dutch name.
Curious. And the other 3 have similar bearings?
In ways, yes. I have no idea what their names are.
Interesting. Curious. And you see Stefan write down some notes. Do you know by chance where they have been spotted about the city?
Well, obviously, St. Christina's,
Yeah.
an alleyway. Not sure what the specific location was. That's all I know concerning locations.
Curious. Axel will probably know more. Curious. Well, I only wish I had been able to before now find out something concerning Mr.
Richard?
Varner.
Yes.
I will indeed be striving to look harder into this. He has been missing for some time, I believe, correct?
Indeed.
Years. Excellent. All right. Well,
There's more.
there's more.
Individuals have demonstrated various weird abilities on at least 2 occasions.
Weird abilities?
Increased strength
Hmm.
and increased speed, or, increased speed.
Interesting. Huh. Is that about where these unusual abilities end?
Yep. Well, at least my knowledge of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Huh. Curious.
And the last and most worrying of all the information I have come across.
Stefan gets a look of concern over his face.
They imbibe, or they need sustenance similar to what, and he points at you and himself, what we do.
Interesting.
They do, however, take it up a little notch.
More than simply drinking blood.
Indeed.
Huh.
You see Thomas's good eye squinting, as if he's having trouble getting the word over his lips. Takes an unnecessary breath.
Do they... No.
They
No.
need to eat people.
Cannibalism.
Yep.
That is quite unnerving.
It is. It was a bitter pill to swallow when I learned of this detail.
Let's see. I would not be. I would be surprised if they did this to fun like us. I would not be surprised if they have been feeding on the mortals.
Their way of feeding sure has a way of attracting far more unnecessary attention than it does, well, when we imbibe.
Christ.
I don't think he has anything to do with it.
Decidedly not. And he muttered something barely audible in German. Something to the effect of, fuck. Why the fuck? Phil. Then I was correct in my thoughts that this would not be a good place to meet with them.
Maybe not. Or maybe it would be.
That would put them as highly dangerous. Stefan kind of pushes his chair back a little bit, gets up. Shall we continue this walking back toward Chinatown?
Of course.
I'm certain that you are accustomed to moving in shadows.
I am.
Then we shall take the most shadowy route.
Someone
And
must adjust his scarf again.
Stefan begins walking toward the door that he came in, leading out of the community center.
Thomas follows shortly behind him.
And with that, as Thomas and Stefan head on into the New Sarum night, winter night, still cold, taking shadowy passageways back to Chinatown, the scene will come to a close.